5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Bernanke, thank you for your time and your insight here and your service to the people. When you were here last year, the Bureau of Labor Statistics indicated that the unemployment rate was higher than it is today. Today, I think BLS is saying it's about 7.9%, although most people throughout the country believe it's much higher. People, Pennsylvania, Bucks County that I represent, especially among younger workers, especially recent graduates, is graduating from high school trying to get into the market. I spoke earlier today on the other side of the city to the American Legion about increasing number of returning veterans from Afghanistan, and some believe that the unemployment rate among veterans is twice the national average, and of course all this is unacceptable. So from 2001 to present, our country has had a significant increase in population. We have increasing numbers of veterans coming home looking for work in a very difficult economy. Some are suggesting, because there are fewer people working today than employed today than were working in 2001, that our country may have just experienced a lost decade, similar to what Japan went through in the 1990s and the 2000s. Do you agree with that? Are there any differences between what happened in Japan and what's happening here in our country? And if so, what suggestions would you make to address it?
Well, there's obviously been a very severe, difficult economic period. I don't know about calling it a lost decade. There are important differences between the United States and Japan. Japan has even a more rapidly aging society than we do. Their workforce is actually declining. They've had more difficulties with their banking sector. We were more rapid at getting our banks up and running again, so to speak. And very importantly, the Federal Reserve has kept inflation close to 2%, and we have avoided deflation, which was a major problem for the Japanese. In terms of what to do about it, first of all, there are many things that can be done to address our long-run economic prosperity in terms of good tax policy, good decisions about encouraging public and private infrastructure, things that I mentioned at the end of my testimony. In the short term, it's our view that there's still a good bit of slack in the economy, that we're not using all the resources we have. As you mentioned, we have very high unemployment in certain categories, and that's the basis both for the accommodative monetary policy that we have, keeping interest rates low and trying to stimulate housing and durable goods and so on, and also for the recommendation that fiscal policy go gradually as Congress tries to address the long-term deficit issues.
So the Fed has indicated that it believes in the long term unemployment rates will settle at around 5.2 or 6%.
That's our best guess.
And understanding, and I heard your testimony earlier about predicting the future, but when would you say we might get to around 6%? And also, you know, the American people, they believe natural unemployment is actually much lower than that, given what we experienced in the 1990s, and maybe your suggestions to how we address that expectation.
Again, it's hard to predict, but a reasonable guess, 6% would be around 2016, about 3 more years.
In my remaining time, I just want to address the issue of the Fed's bond buying program. You said in your testimony last September the FOMC announced it would purchase agency-backed mortgage securities at the pace of $40 billion per month, additionally $45 billion per month for Treasury securities. FOMC has indicated it will continue purchases until it observes a substantial improvement in the outlook for the labor market in a context of price stability. First of all, what would be the target improvement for the slowdown?
We haven't given a specific number. We're looking for improvements in terms of employment, in terms of unemployment, in terms of a stronger economy that can deliver more jobs. The reason we haven't given a specific number, besides all the uncertainties involved, is that we're also looking at the efficacy and costs, as I've described in my testimony. If they're all else equal, if there are costs being generated by this policy that are concerning, that would, all else equal, make us do less. If it's more efficacious, then we might do more.
And in my remaining 20 seconds, can you give us what a proposed strategy would be for the acquired positions that the Fed has right now?
For the what?
Sales strategy.
For the assets?
For the assets, right.
We've been clear that at the time that we decide to begin sales, that we would give plenty of notice and proceed slowly and do so in a way consistent with our macro objectives.
Thank you, Chairman.
Time.